And then the injuries, they come back from injuries, and I mean, and the difference between like football, and these guys get
I had this
10
conversation
taps and they're rolling on the ground and they're doing all these terrible sort of things.
I met a Gypsy.
When I go around, I still do loads of track days on
Oh, you still do?
on sports bikes. I still love it, and I sit there sometimes, thinking I'm Valley or
yeah, putting a leg out.
Yeah, putting a. Exactly. And then into the gravel again. But it's those guys, and then the injuries, they come back from injuries, and I mean, and the difference between like football, and these guys get
I had this
10
conversation
taps and they're rolling on the ground and they're doing all these terrible sort of things, and it's and then you cut to Fabio Quartararo, who races actually for Monster with the Yamaha, and there's a one of the guys who's just invested in the Tech 3 team, who's come from Formula 1.
Yeah, Gunther.
And they, they see that MotoGP is they're becoming franchises, and not just motorcycle race teams that race, And but they were saying the stories that aren't told about MotoGP is, you got Fabio who's gone. He's in free practice before qualifying, and he goes around. He comes off, big fucking crash, dislocates his shoulder, and he's lying on the gravel, and there's a doctor guy there, and pointing at his thing, and the guy punches his shoulder and puts his shoulder back in. He gets up, gets on the scooter, goes out, qualifies fourth. Having an hour or so before his, and no fuss, no one talks about it. The teams don't go,
no, it's just normal.
That guy is just normal.
Yeah.
And that story happens all the time,
Yeah.
And every time someone falls off, and you fall off just slightly the wrong way, and, well, Marc Marquez last year won the World Championship. The next race.
The
very next weekend out for the season.
Yeah.
And had that, had he not quite done the racing that, the win that he had on that weekend, and it moved on to the following weekend, he would have lost the championship having been the lead the whole way. So it's difficult in Formula One, but it's super difficult on
unbelievably
to do it, on a motorcycle.
Have you ever done the 2-up lap with one of those guys?
Yeah. I did it with Randy on a Ducati, and then I did it with one of the more terrifying ones. I did it with Ron Haslam.
Yeah.
Rocket Ron. They think he used to race with Barry Sheen and all that kind of crowd, and we went round Donington with him, but no handlebars to hold on to or anything like that. So it's just one arm around his waist and one arm on the petrol tank, and he said I'll do a couple of laps, and we did 10.
That is brutal.
And we come into the Melbourne hairpin loop, and he'd put the brakes on, and I'd slide up his back, and then just crash down again, and then off we go. But the thing was, on the MotoGP bike with Randy, he said, Charlie, you'll be fine with the speed and all that kind of stuff. He said it's the late braking and the corner speed that you'll freak out on. And fuck me, he was right. I mean, it was, you're just thinking, brake, and he's going in. And there's a lovely photo I've got of Randy and I, and it was just before the MotoGP, and he's going around the corner, and you can hear the crowd because they love him, and it was in Valencia, and they hear this noise. And you got this photo, and this, we're both 2-up, leant right over, and the back wheel is smoking, going around the corner.
That's unbelievable.
And it was like, what an experience. Have you've done the lap?
I've done it with Jack, with Jack Miller.
He's a nice guy, Jack.
He is the best, isn't he? But so we grew up racing with him. Like we're all from the same area, and I get on the bike, and he goes, "I'm fully prepared to crash." I was like, fuck. I was already shitting myself as it was. But same deal. It was at the end of, it was when I was doing the stuff with Ducati at home before I moved to America. And he did all the responsible rides with all of the paying people and all of the whoever was doing it.
The celebrity or whatever it is.
And then they were like, righto, Jase, you're up. And Jack's like, we can fucking crash this thing. This is the last one of the weekend. Like, we're good. We're going to send it. And it was unbelievable. It was life-changing in what I do.
Yeah.
Because I talk about
it's an insight,
motorcycles
isn't it,
for a living. And I mean, I've ridden Phillip Island. I've never done that.
No.
Like, I'm never doing that. It blew my mind of like, how do you even figure out that that's a real thing that's possible?
And how they get to that point as well, And I always like to think it's because they just spend all their days on the motorcycle. And if I spent that much time, I'd be that good. Oh. But no, they do, and it's nice to see. And I'm a big fan of MotoGP, and I love that. I love circuit racing. Maybe that's because after I did sort of motocross and stuff and enduro when I was a kid, I moved to London and then just started watching circuit racing and then kind of had that. It was the only time I've ever had a feeling that actually, it was the only time I saw somebody do some kind of job and think I should have done that, and I've never thought that before.
And it was about being a racer.
And it was watching. It was MotoGP going round when they still raced at Donington Park.
Yeah.
And I just thought, fuck.
Should have been me.
Yeah, it should have been me. And I know. I mean, we all say that. There's loads of us who say it. But I'll tell you one story quickly about talking about MotoGP and MotoGP riders. Barry Sheen.
Yeah. Legend.
And he was a legend, and he was quite the womanizer and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so years.
He's a good-looking young fella.
Yeah, he was a great-looking guy. I mean, I fancied the pants off him. So my wife at the time, this is like 40 years ago. At the time, she was. We were late into this restaurant in Fulham, and for lunch, and we came in. There was a whole long table of friends all there, and so we sat at the end of this long table, and in the window, there was this round table, and there was. Damon Hill, there was David Coulthard, Murray Walker, I can't remember, a couple of other MotoGP Formula One drivers, and Barry Sheen. And I was going, golly, look, this fucking Barry Sheen, and then of course Murray Walker and there was the others, but it was Barry Sheen, and I was so blown away. Anyway, I went to the bathroom, I came back, and he was sitting on my chair, chatting up my to-be wife, and as I got close, I could hear him say, he goes, Olivia, you're a gorgeous girl. Do you want to come to Australia with me? And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, no, my girlfriend doesn't want to come to Australia with you, but I do. And I swear he paused for a long time and he gave me a big look up and down and he went, nah, I don't think so. And he walked up, and it's the only time I've been so privileged that someone was chatting my girlfriend up at the time. That's a
massive kudos.
I know, yeah, Barry Sheen.
A bit of a flex. Dude, his
amazing.
son is a fucking absolute weapon as well.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely romanced a few women in his time.
I saw him the other day. I was at the Goodwood members meeting, and they did a Barry Sheen and James Hunt weekend because they both won their championships
same year.
At the same year.
Yeah.
I think Barry had it. Yeah, and so I was down there riding some of the bikes, and he was down there as well, and a bunch of other motorcycle riders, and it was nice. It was nice to and I jumped on this bike. I'd never met the guy before. He had a great bike, and I'm going around the corner. It's only an exhibition lap, so about 6 or 7 laps of an exhibition thing. You know what races are like. They're all fucking going all over the place. And so I come out, and before I know it, the whole fucking load have gone past me, and I'm thinking, right, okay.
Okay.
And then I'm barreling around the first 2 corners of Goodwood. It's quite fast, and there's a mound where you can't see the exit, and it wants to. Yeah. You feel like you've been pushed out, but there's actually a lot of room.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going, and as I'm going along, I'm going, God, I never really brake checked this bike, and I wonder, are the tires old? I said, I've never ridden this. Has he looked after it? And then I'm going around and braking really hard and thinking, I hope these tires and brakes
At that point,
work.
it's too late.
And it's too late
to
now.
have these thoughts.
So just get it out. But anyway, it was great fun riding these bikes from the, from the 70s. Was it 70s? I suppose it would. Yeah. Anyway, it was lovely.
You just finished watching a clip from the full 3-hour podcast. You're on our Clips channel. The full podcast live on the Gypsy Tales podcast channel. It's linked right here. Go over to that channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you never miss a full episode of the Gypsy Tales podcast. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to watch it on the go, you can also head to our iTunes or Spotify to get the full 3-hour podcast in audio format.
I met a gypsy.